What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the 12th Horseshoe Podcast live on Surge Sports TV, presented by Prova, an Italian-American deli in Moonachie, New Jersey. Hello, friends. I am Jack Rizzo, joined by my normal partner, Elijah Weintraub, and today we have two very special guests joining the show. Please welcome from Swinging for the Fences podcast, George Sewell, over on the bottom right of your screen, and on the bottom left of your screen, please welcome John Randall, another friend of the channel. Thank you guys so much for joining. How you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Good. I'm glad to hear. So today we are doing part 1 of 2 of our 12th Horseshoe Podcast predictions videos for the 2024 NFL season, the 105th season in NFL history, and we are starting with the AFC today. My conference is a Colts fan. I can't wait for that CBS music to be playing in week 1. It's the best thing about being an AFC fan. So we're going to get right to the predictions. We've got record predictions. We're going to debate about each team. We're going to do also award predictions at the end of the video. So we're going to do MVP, offensive, defensive player of the year, all that good stuff. So we're going to get right into it. But first,
and
we
don't
have
forget Friday. Don't forget to join us for the NFC show at 7:00. 2 more guests will be joining us, and we'll break down the entire NFC and give our bracket predictions as well.
Absolutely. So we have one comment. This is from one of my Colts friends, Sarah. Hey, everyone, go Sarah, go Colts. There's not many of us fans, but we are definitely proud. And Colts going 11-6. All right, we'll get to the Colts in a second. But we are going to start off with what is, in my opinion, the best division in the NFL, and that is the AFC North. All 4 teams in the AFC North finished above 500 last year. I think this is going to be another good division this year. We're going to go team by team. We're going to start off with the Baltimore Ravens, the top seed in the AFC last year, 13-4. So you guys are each going to give your thoughts about the Ravens, and then we'll do record predictions after that. I'm going to start this one off with you, Eli. So what are your thoughts on the Baltimore Ravens for this season?
Well, last year they were the division winners, and I still think they're going to come into this new year hot and strong. So I have them finishing in first place in the division with a 12-5 record, and also having and ending second place in the entire AFC. I think we're going to watch out for a hot year for the Baltimore Ravens.
All right, next we'll go to you, George. What are your thoughts on the Ravens this year?
So the Ravens obviously coming back to they're the reigning divisional champs. Big signing I want to throw out there, Derrick Henry, having him and Lamar on the same time running. It's diabolical. I have the Ravens actually going 14-3, 6-0 against division rivals. Yeah, I'm that high on them, and I have them at the number 3 seed this year. I'm really high on the Ravens.
All right, John, you're up next. Ravens are one of your local teams. What do you think about them, buddy?
I really think the Ravens will do something good this year, but I do not think they're going to be able to get past Mahomes and the Chiefs. I'm sorry. Mahomes is just that good, and he's just I mean, the stuff he's doing at his age, not very many quarterbacks have done. He's won 3 Super Bowls and he's not even 30 yet. So my my thoughts on the Ravens are they'll get far, but they're not getting past the AFC Championship game. I don't think they're going to get past the AFC Championship game. That's just my take on it. I think they have a good, solid roster. You add Derrick Henry. You obviously have what was the wide receiver's name? I can't think of the wide receiver. They got him from Minnesota. Do you know who I'm talking about? You all know who I'm talking about? They got him
wide receiver from Minnesota.
Receiver from Minnesota. They got him from Minnesota, the college.
Rashad Bateman. Yes.
Rashad Bateman. Thank you. You got Rashad Bateman, the tight end, which is I can't think of his name either.
Mark Andrews.
Thank you. Got the tight end Mark Andrews. You're obviously going to have J.K. Dobbins, which is that running back duo, if he can stay healthy. My concern with the Ravens is their health concerns. You got to have a healthy team to be able to compete in the AFC Championship game. And they did last year. They got really far last year. But they had a pretty healthy, solid team. But Jim Harbaugh and John Harbaugh have always had good teams every time they played. Every time they've been a coach. even during Jim Harbaugh's contract, even during Jim Harbaugh's time in the NFL, they've had good teams both coaches have had great teams. So yeah, that's my take on the Ravens.
Okay, I will finish
There were
this
some
one off.
comments.
Yeah, I know. I've
Nick.
got him. I just have one up. Sarah says Ravens 12-5. That's definitely fair. My take on the Ravens is, I mean, they're a very good team. We all know that. I just don't know if they repeat the 13 wins they had last year. I feel like they kind of overachieve. I don't want to say overachieved, but I think they definitely had an advantage with the Bengals having, Joe Burrow, the Bengals having Joe Burrow being injured for most of the season, the Steelers in their quarterback situation, the Browns having 4 different starting quarterbacks. I still think the Ravens are a playoff team, but I don't have them repeating the win total from last year, and I don't have them repeating as the division champs either. I have the Ravens winning 11 games. I think Derrick Henry's a good addition, but they also lost a big name. That is Mike McDonald, their defensive coordinator. Ravens had the best defense last year. We'll see how they replace him, but I just think the Ravens are not going to be nearly as good this year. So I have 11-6, and their schedule is relatively tough as well. So actually what we're going to do here is, instead of going team by team to save some time, we are just going to do the entire division. So we're going to finish off with the AFC North.
By the way,
Yep.
everybody watching on YouTube or Facebook, don't forget to chat along with us, to join the conversation, give your record predictions wherever you're watching.
Yep. All right. So we're going to keep going with the AFC North. Eli, I will go back over to you. Just give your overall thoughts for all 4 teams in the division, and then give your standings at the end. That's what we'll do.
Okay. So well, I think this is the AFC North. It's now going to be a competition this year because Joe Burrow was injured last year for the Cincinnati Bengals towards the midseason, and it affected a lot. The Bengals missed the playoffs last season, so it did affect the end result for the North. But I think now that Joe Burrow's back, the competition's growing. And remember, don't forget we had the Cleveland Browns, who were a playoff team last year. They made it to the playoffs, and they were the 7th seed. They did lose to the Houston Texans, but they gave it their shot. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, it's a new era for them because now we're still trying to figure out who the quarterback is, whether it's Justin Fields, who's going to be the starter, or Russell Wilson. That's going to be a big question there. And to be honest with you, if you're going to be fighting to see who is going to be the number 1 quarterback, I could already see problems already. And we haven't even played the first game of the NFL season. So to the predictions I go, I have, obviously, as I mentioned, Baltimore 12-5 at number 1, Cincinnati at number 2 with 11-6, Cleveland 9-8 at 3rd, and Pittsburgh at 7-10 in 4th, and Cincinnati have number 6 overall in the AFC.
That's certainly a bold prediction, Eli. That would mean Mike Tomlin would have his first losing season as an NFL head coach. George, we'll go to your next. Your overall thoughts on the AFC North for each team, and then the standings predictions.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very good division. Defensively, I mean, it's like some of the top defenders are in the league. Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, who in my opinion is the best defensive player in the NFL. So we're jump right into it. In second place, I actually have the Browns. I see them going 12-5. I really like this Browns team. I think Deshaun Watson, as bad as we can make him sound, he's still a solid quarterback. And I do like Jerry Jeudy. I feel like he could really complement Amari Cooper well. So I have them going 12-5. They're going to be the 5th seed. And then the Bengals I have in 3rd place going 11-6. We're going to have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. That connection is going to be back. And I have them in the 6th seed too, the Bengals. And then last place going 5-12 are the Pittsburgh Steelers. This was a playoff team last year. Mike Tomlin, historically known for having winning seasons, but then his first sub 500 season by a lot. I mean, look at this team. I feel like everyone around them got better, but they didn't. I'm a big fan of George Pickens. I really am. But I still feel like in the back of my mind, they're going to make the wrong decision with the quarterbacks, and they're going to give Russell, I feel like, a little too much slack. Because I honestly think Fields should at least be starting week 3, maybe even sooner. So I feel like they're not going to handle the quarterback situation well. And I feel like they don't have enough weapons. But shout out to Jalen Warren. Very good running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I love the take.
Yeah, I mean, the person in the top right corner of your screen will love your take about the Pittsburgh Steelers. But yeah, I mean, I totally agree. This is the best division in the NFL. John, will go to your next. Your overall thoughts on the AFC North and record predictions for each team in that division.
So I actually have the Ravens making the playoffs, and I do not have them winning the division. I have Cincinnati winning the division. The reason I say Cincinnati is because if you look at what they did this offseason, and I'm not talking about in free agency, but look at what they did in the draft. Okay? You have obviously T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and then you also have Joe Burrow coming back. But if you also look at the defensive side of the ball, they have Chris Jenkins, one of the best D linemen in that to go along with that defense, and they also brought in Jermaine Burton from Alabama. So I think this wide receiver duo between Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Jermaine Burton are going to be probably one of the best wide receiving duos in all of the NFL. I think if you look at what Zach Taylor has done, yes, last year the Bengals missed the playoffs, and I have them making the playoffs actually with a record of, I'm going to say, 12-5 for the Bengals. And then for the Ravens, I have them also making the playoffs, and they're going 10-7, 10-7, because we still have a lot of questions regarding their health, and that's the biggest concern for me is the health of the players. Then for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I also have them missing the playoffs. I do think that they'll have a winning season, but I do not think it's going to be enough to get them into the playoffs. I have the Steelers going 8-9, and the Browns, I also have them missing the playoffs as well.
Sorry, my voice cracked. Those are pretty good takes there, and I'll go with my takes for the AFC North. As I said before, I didn't say this before. I have, like you, John, the Cincinnati Bengals winning this division with an 11-6 record, and the reason being is the Bengals have an advantage this year because they finished last in the division last year. They have an easier schedule than the other three teams in the division do. I mean, even though the Bengals didn't play well last year, we saw when Joe Burrow was healthy for those couple of weeks mid-season that the Bengals can still be anybody. They beat the 49ers on the road by 14 points last year. They beat the Bills on Sunday Night Football. This Bengals team can still beat anybody. They are going to contend. Their schedule is relatively light, so I think they go 11-6. Not to mention, this is Joe Burrow's first fully healthy training camp he's had in his career. Now, I think they're playing it a little dangerous with the Jamar Chase situation, but I still think the Bengals overall, while they might not be as good on paper as the Ravens, I think they win the division. I think they have the better division record than the Ravens, which is why they win the division, because I also have the Ravens going 11-6. So then that would go down to the division record, who would win the division. I think the Bengals are going to have the better division record. For Cleveland, I think Deshaun Watson just needs to be average because the Browns have one of the most talented teams in the NFL on both sides of the ball. They're stacked with talent there in Cleveland, but they did get a unfortunate break. Nick Chubb is going to be out at least the first 4 games, still on PUP after that gruesome knee injury he had last year. Jerome Ford stock going up in fantasy. But Myles Garrett is a heck of a pass rusher. The rest of that defense is good. Jim Schwartz was probably the best coordinator in the NFL last year overall. And I have the Browns winning 10 wins and getting back to the playoffs again. I just think they're a really solid team. And as long as Deshaun Watson protects the football and doesn't get hurt, I think they'll be good. And as for the Steelers, I agree with the consensus, but I just can't bet on Mike Tomlin not having a losing season. I have the Steelers missing the playoffs, but I have them missing the playoffs with 9 wins. That might seem crazy, but man, I cannot pick Mike Tomlin to have a losing season until he actually does. He's been the head coach there for 17 years, and he has never had a losing season in Pittsburgh. He's going to get 9 wins out of this team somehow, right? He got 9 wins last year out of Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph. So surely he can get 9 wins out of a former Super Bowl champion and a former first-round pick. So those are my thoughts in the AFC North. But, George, you brought up a point before of TJ Watt being the best defensive player in the NFL. I also think that the most underrated defensive player in the NFL is in that division. And the player I'm talking about is the linebacker for the Cincinnati Bengals, Logan Wilson. I think that kid is an absolute baller at linebacker. So those are my thoughts on the AFC North. Any final thoughts before we go to the AFC East? Anybody?
Yeah, all I could say is I want to go first. So I would like to say that Pittsburgh at last, George. I love the idea. I love the pick. I love everything about it. But Jack, this is where I start and say my thoughts. Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos last year went 8-9. 8-9. So you're expecting them to have at least 9 wins when you don't even know who the quarterback is for week 1.
Well, I never said Russell Wilson will be the quarterback.
I'm just saying.
Yes, you
The
did.
fact that the
You
Steelers,
said
though,
former Super
are
Bowl winner.
arguing, though, about who the
Well,
quarterback
I said
is
former
going
Super
to
Bowl winner
be.
and a former first-round pick, which is Justin Fields.
The fact that they're arguing, though, about who the quarterback is going to be shows that there's already going to be problems this season. That's just what I'm
That's
saying.
fair.
So to
That's
give that
fair.
9 wins is a little crazy.
I mean, Baker Mayfield, though, was in a competition last year with Kyle Trask, and the Bucs still won 9 games. George, we'll go to you next.
Yeah, let me just say Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield is not remotely close to Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. I think that's ridiculous. And I'm also going to bring up another point Jack made about the most underrated defensive player being in this division. I agree, but I don't think it's who he picked. I think it's Ward, cornerback for the Browns. He's
Denzel
light,
Ward?
yeah, lights out, makes the plays. He's a no-fly zone, so I just wanted to say that real quick. And then also, I really don't see the Steelers having a winning season. I don't see the Bengals winning the division. I have the Bengals in a playoff race with a lot of other teams. I have them just biting their nails to get into the playoffs. I don't have them ice skating in. So I think if they do make the playoffs, it's going to be a real struggle because I think the clear-cut favorite is Baltimore. No reason Baltimore should not be good. I
That's
know.
a good point, but they're going to be competing though.
Yeah,
Because remember,
they'll still be competing, but
if Joe Burrow was still healthy last year, that would have been a battle all the way to the end.
yeah, definitely. But still, man, I don't know. I just feel like the Ravens and the Browns got better. That's the thing. And I feel like Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, that's crazy. That shouldn't be possible. That shouldn't be allowed. It really shouldn't. And I feel like I really like Patrick Queen coming to the Steelers. I just want to say that too. So you can honestly look at all these teams and make a case for all of them. You can honestly do that. Maybe not the Steelers because they're not a winning team, but you can honestly make a case. This is basically one of those divisions where you could say it could go either way. It could go any way. We really don't know.
2 words, Mike Tomlin. I will stand by that forever. Anyways, okay, yeah, so it appears that Jason agrees with your Steelers predictions. I mean, I know the Steelers. I got the majority of their game predictions right last year. Like, I know this Pittsburgh team. I watch them pretty much every week, more close than anyone.
But this
I just
Pittsburgh
know Mike
team
Tomlin
has new quarterbacks, though, Jack.
This is such a different Pittsburgh team. This is not the same Pittsburgh team.
I just think as long as Mike Tomlin's the coach, anything is possible.
But you cannot compare last year's Pittsburgh team to this year's Pittsburgh team when they can't even figure out who the quarterback is yet.
The defense got better though with Patrick Queen.
That doesn't matter. That does not matter.
I mean, it could. I mean, you've had
everyone's defense in this division though is lights out. You got to admit it. And having a defense isn't the biggest advantage because everyone's in this division has a top 10 defense. I'll throw that out there. Everyone in this division has a top 10 defense. It's ridiculous.
That's
how
fair.
crazy this division is.
John, we're gonna go to you now for your final AFC North thoughts before we move to the AFC East.
I'm sorry, I was laughing at what somebody said because you said you're like you were kind of funny with something you said, but I really don't think that Mike Tomlin will have a losing season. I agree with Jack. Yes, the quarterback play is questionable, but if they make the right decision at the quarterback, which I honestly think Justin Fields should start, because Russell Wilson was terrible, absolutely
100%.
Like if you think about it, all these teams have a case. Besides the Steelers, let's put it that way. Besides the Steelers, I mean the Browns, you have a Deshaun Watson quarterback. Deshaun Watson has not played to the level that he played with the Texans at the Texans level since he was back with the Texans. He has not played to that level, and he got all And here's the thing. I honestly think Deshaun Watson got overpaid. I think Deshaun Watson got overpaid.
I think everyone can agree on that.
Yeah,
Remember,
that's pretty
Joe
easy.
Flacco had that run with the Texans at the end. It wasn't Deshaun Watson that carried it through. So you gotta
Yeah,
get that.
but it's just like he has not played. He's gotten injured. He's gotten the I don't know if you all remember the harassment charges against him for the sexual harassment.
Oh yeah, we remember.
Bro,
Yeah,
Just
I kind of recall that.
just it's just like it's just like you're like really like you really think I don't think Deshaun Watson and the Browns will make the playoffs. I also don't think the Steelers will make the playoffs. I don't. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, we all agree on the Steelers not making the playoffs. I just have to have a few more wins because again, Mike Tomlin is just a magical head coach. But let's move on to the AFC.
Is Mike Tomlin your pick
We
for
could
MVP
sit here all
too?
day and discuss this, but we don't have the time.
MVP.
Trust
Well,
me,
a
I would love
coach
to
can win
discuss this all
MVP, but
day.
coach of the year, no, he's not my pick for coach of the year. Spoiler alert.
Good.
All right.
Okay, good. About time. I was gonna
let's-
say we could discuss this all day if we had the opportunity to.
We can have a whole Mike Tomlin day if you want.
Yes, we could do that. We could arrange it because it looks like the floor is divided here. The left side, right, the left side of the screen here says it's okay for the Steelers. The right side, I think we're agreeing together so far.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's crazy.
Mike Tomlin
Right.
got wins out of Duck Hodges a few years ago. I think anything is possible.
Agree to
So,
disagree. We gotta.
Let's go to the AFC East now.
Yeah.
So this division, I definitely think we can all agree this was a pretty strong division or a pretty decent division last year. I think it's a little bit weaker this year, to be honest. There's a couple of teams who might be improved, but there's definitely teams who got worse. But George, you are a Jets fan. The Jets are the AFC East. I'm going to let you start this one. Overall thoughts on the AFC East and overall record predictions for each team this season.
This division is really good. And I'm just going to prepare everyone for what I'm about to say. I know people are going to, the second they hear this, they're going to get mad. In first place, the New York Jets, baby, 13-4. Here's why. I see a lot. See, I got to do some explaining. Listen. So, Aaron Rodgers, very good. So, the last time we saw Rodgers, look, what I'm trying to say is we do not need Rodgers to be ridiculous. We don't need him to be an Pro Bowl quarterback. We need him to stay healthy. That's the biggest thing. And what was our problem last year? The O-line. Guess what? We improved the O-line. It is one of the better O-lines now. And here's our X factor. His name is Breece Hall. Breece Hall got 996 yards last year. That was the first 5 weeks of the season with half an ACL basically, and the worst O-line I have ever seen with my eyes. So now you have a fully healthy Breece Hall and a fantastic O-line. He's going to do big things, and this defense is the best in the NFL. You can argue with me all you want on that, Jack, saying no. Look, Quinnen Williams, absolute machine, absolute beast. Hassan Reddick's on the team now, hopefully. Hassan Reddick, guess what? Every game, Quinnen Williams, he got double teamed. He got double teamed every game. Our best defensive player was double teamed. Now you have Hassan Reddick coming at you too. Improves there. And I'm going to finish off my Jets whole statement. I know I talked for a while about the Jets, but look at the teams around them. 2 playoff teams
Just
last year being the Steelers and the Bills got weaker. You had 2 playoff teams last year go down and get weaker. So, and the Bills are also in the division. So I have them going 13-4. You look at the Jets schedule, they really only have 2 games against, there's those teams where you're just where you're going to lose, being the Steel. You want to know Hassan Reddick? So the 2 teams that I see us losing to big time are the 49ers and the Texans, and then we split it with the Dolphins and the Bills. Some people can even say we don't split it with the Dolphins and the Bills, and I kind of agree with them, but I didn't want to have the Jets go 17-0, even though deep down we all know that's what they're going to do. All right, so in second, and they're also the 4 seed. I'm just kidding about 17-0 though. So in the in second place, I have the Dolphins going 10
I
and
really
7.
hope so.
What? Oh yeah, they're not actually going 17 and 0. But in second place, Dolphins are going 10 and 7. I really like the combinations they have. It's just speed, speed, speed. They're gonna beat you with the speed. I will say though, I feel like Tua's a liability. I feel like if Tua gets hit hard, he's done. I mean, what is that? His fifth concussion in 2 years? That's a problem. If I was Tua, I would have stopped playing 2 seasons ago after I've already been knocked out a few times because it's pretty much getting dangerous now. But I also like what they did with the defense. Jalen Phillips coming back this year, I think he's a very good linebacker. And I feel like there's not that much competition. Let's go to the Bills now. I have in third place going 9 and 8. The Bills obviously lost Stephon Diggs. I kind of like the Keon Coleman draft pick. I kind of feel like, though, we're overrating that like way too much. We are overhyping Keon Coleman like crazy. Yes, he's good, but you're acting like he's going to change this team. Keon Coleman is not. You lost Gabe Davis. You lost Stephon Diggs. I really just don't see it. I'm not saying they're a bad team, the Bills. I think Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in the NFL, but I really okay, Jack's already mad, but I really don't think the Bills are going to compete. And then I really don't think anyone's going to have a problem with fourth place, the Patriots going 2 and 5. Let me just say, I feel like Joe Milton is a stud
15.
and really should have a better shot. I feel like just they're giving Drake May way too much of a chance because I feel like it's ridiculous. Joe Milton, I think, is a better quarterback than Drake May. And I think he should be treated more fairly. I feel like they're just ignoring him. Jack's really happy with this AFC East prediction. Wait, what do you got to say about this, Jack?
I can't wait to rebuttal this.
Wait,
I
Eli,
cannot wait.
let me
I
get.
cannot wait.
Oh my goodness. You're a very smart guy. I will say that. I just think some of these are a little out of context, to be honest. Like,
so wait, let's break it down. Let's break it down by the schedule real quick. This will take a minute. Jets versus 49ers. I have them losing to the 49ers.
Oh no, it's not. It's not about the Jets. It's not about the Jets.
Who is it about then?
I don't think you could say Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, like the guy who turns the ball over more than pretty much any other quarterback in the league. The guy who's never won one big game in his NFL career. A guy
Who is the second best quarterback?
It's Joe Burrow, and I not only is Josh Allen not number 2, he's number 5 for me.
Number 5, okay.
Yeah.
Don't put
5.
Lamar over him. Don't put Lamar over him. Don't do it, Jack.
Okay. Let's just put it this way. There's a reason why Lamar Jackson has won 2 MVPs. Lamar Jackson has won 2 MVP awards.
Because the competition wasn't as good. Because Joe Burrow got hurt, Patrick Mahomes wasn't at his best, and Josh Allen wasn't at his best. That's why he's won 2 MVPs.
How is that Lamar's fault, though? That's not
it's not his fault, but I'm just saying it's kind of boosting him a little too much. Lamar is not. Who are the other 2 quarterbacks you have in that top 5?
Well, we know 3 of them: Mahomes, Burrow, and Lamar. So I have one more. 4? You're not gonna like this at all. Nobody's gonna like this. No, not Jordan Love's like out of the top 10. He's not even close.
Say it.
Matthew Stafford, number 4 quarterback in the league.
I can kind of live with that.
There's no Matthew on this list. Brock Purdy just competed in the Super Bowl.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that, Jack.
But I have to add that. I just want to point that out.
I don't know why he's so underrated, Matthew Stafford. When he's healthy and locked in, he throws balls that I've never seen any other quarterback throw. He can fit him in the tight windows. Like
he's won. We can agree with that, Jack. I like that actually. I like.
Finally, we agree on something. Good.
I like that Stafford pick. Yeah. I like that a lot.
Okay. All right. All right. So I'll just do since you led it to me, I'll do my AFC predictions real quick. You're not gonna like this one either. I still think the Bills win the division.
Okay.
And they only win it with 10 wins. I honestly think that this division is just not really as good as it's been in the past. I think the Bills only win 10 games, but to be honest, I mean, I know I'm not as high as Josh Allen as you are, but I mean, hey, he's still a pretty good quarterback. 15 rushing touchdowns last year. You can't, I mean, 6'5". I mean, that's hard to beat, honestly. And honestly, I think them going younger on defense is actually going to help them. They can't just have these old bodies running around on defense anymore. And I like some of their younger guys on defense. Now losing Matt Milano definitely hurts. That's a big loss on that defense. But they were without him last year. So, and honestly though, I think getting rid of Stephon Diggs actually helps the Bills because I think he was a cancer in that locker room. And I think they have a decent receiving core. Like Keon Coleman could be like the second or third best receiver in this draft class. I'm not even joking about that. Dalton Kincaid could assert himself as an elite tight end this year. Now, I see y'all not liking my taste, but this is the 3-time AFC North champions we're talking about, who still have a top 5 quarterback in the league, who still have, a lot of good players on both sides of the ball. And I just think, again, until someone in the AFC East proves to me that they can beat the Bills, I'm not going to pick the Bills to not win the division. So the Bills are my division pick at 10-7. In second place, I do have the Jets. I have the Jets in second, so at least I don't have them in Eli might have them in last place. So get ready for that.
If he has them in last place, that's just cruelty.
I have the Jets winning. 9 games. That's my prediction for the Jets this year. 9 games, and the reason being is we were talking before the show started about Kirk Cousins coming off a torn Achilles, but we also have a 40-year-old as well coming off a torn Achilles. He almost magically recovered. Apparently he pretended to recover from it in 3 months by listening to dolphin noises or whatever he was doing. But I don't know.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Fully healthy Aaron Rodgers or fully healthy Kirk Cousins?
Well, I don't think Aaron Rodgers.
Fully healthy Aaron Rodgers or fully healthy Kirk Cousins?
Cousins.
Right now, Kirk Cousins, because Aaron Rodgers has, you look at 2022, his last fully healthy season, he was not really that good. The Packers missed the playoffs.
He's the same thing you're getting from Kirk Cousins, basically. 2022 Aaron Rodgers.
I honestly think that Kirk Cousins has a better situation. Listen, your offensive play caller is Nathaniel Hackett. That is a major problem. I just do not know if I could trust Nathaniel Hackett. I don't care that he was with Rodgers.
You think he's in a better situation? You think Bijan's better than Brees?
No, but that's not the point, though.
Do you think Garrett's better than London?
I would say so, but the O-line is much better than the Jets O-line is. That's for sure.
Not by much, Jack.
You've got two old injury-prone offensive tackles, and your number 2 receiver is Mike Williams. Mike Williams can never stay healthy, and now he's going to probably the worst place he can play on with his whatever he has left in his knees. I don't know if he has anything left, to be honest. We know he's going to get hurt at some point, and what happens to the receiving depth after that? And I think again, Brees is very good, that's for sure. But what I'm worried about is the Jets overworking him. And you never want to overwork a running back. You never want to overwork a running back in this
Braylon Allen.
I love Braylon Allen, but I don't know if I trust them to use him correctly. I think they might overuse Brees a little bit. They might, rely on him to carry the offense sometimes. And you said the best defense in the NFL, right? I was surprised to find out when I looked this up last night or 2 nights ago. The Jets defense was not even top 10 in scoring last year. That's shocked. I was shocked when I saw that stat because I do like the Jets defense. But again, right now, Hassan Reddick is not on the team. I don't know if he's even going to be on the team. He has not signed a contract. And when you add in, you lost your best edge rusher from last year in Bryce Huff. Quinnen Williams, you could just double team Quinnen. They have some other good, I like Quincy Williams. There's a couple other players.
CJ Mosley.
I do like CJ Mosley, but CJ Mosley's getting up there in age, though. And he's had injuries in the past. So I don't really know if I can trust CJ Mosley. Secondary's good. Your secondary is phenomenal. I will say that. You have a great secondary.
Let me just say this real quick.
Subscribe to Surge Sports so you don't miss the content like this.
Let me just say this, Jack, real quick. You said 2 old O-linemen injury prone. Well, I got 2 young O-linemen coming at you. I got Elijah Vera Tucker and I got Olu Fashanu.
Yeah, well, I was talking about offensive Elijah Vera Tucker is a guard, and here's the thing: rookie offensive tackles often struggle. Offensive tackles, they're like the position that struggle the most in their rookie seasons. Them and defensive backs take a couple of years to develop.
Sauce was really bad his rookie year too.
Okay, but that was like what I'm talking about again. That's like the outlier because most rookie corners usually struggle. Again, good for Sauce. I'm glad he had a great rookie year. But again, I just think 9 wins just because, again, Aaron Rodgers coming off a torn Achilles. I think the line depth is a little concerning with the 2 tackles. I mean, Mike Williams, is he going to stay healthy? And the schedule, I mean, I don't think your only 2 losses are going to be the 49ers and to the Texans. I mean, the Texans are at home. I actually think you can win that game, to be quite honest.
Who else do you see us losing to then? I have the schedule up right here.
Don't underestimate the Colts on Sunday night.
Okay.
They're going to come in and
Of
shock
course.
you.
Well, number one, don't forget the Seattle Seahawks, because remember, they have not lost at MetLife Stadium, and that includes against the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl in MetLife Stadium. And I'm going to wrap it up because we're running late here on time. So
John, we're gonna go to you now for AFC East. Let me just
forget me. It's okay.
I've got Dolphins at 9-8 in third, and then Patriots 3-14 in fourth. Patriots are the worst team in the league, in my opinion. John, your AFC East thoughts. Go right ahead.
So my AFC East thoughts. I have the Jets making the playoffs with a 40-year-old quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. If he stays healthy. If he doesn't stay healthy, there's no shot for the Jets, period. I don't care what anybody says. The Jets will not make the playoffs if Aaron Rodgers cannot stay healthy, period. For the Patriots, I also agree with Jack. I do not have them make the playoffs. I actually have them finishing with the worst record in the entire NFL. And also, I have them end up getting the number 1 overall pick. Because, I mean, yes, you have a rookie quarterback, but for the Patriots. And you also have Joe Milton, which that's going to be very interesting to see how the Patriots, who they decide to go with at quarterback. Obviously, Drake May is going to take some time to develop, but I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Milton competes for that starting job, because remember, Joe Milton got drafted by the Patriots in the NFL draft. For the Dolphins, I have them making the playoffs. I think if Tua stays healthy, the Dolphins will be one of I think Tua and the Dolphins will have one of the best offenses. I think they're going to ultimately, I think the Dolphins will have the number 2 or number 3 offense in the entire league. I think that the Dolphins, I have them making playoffs. I have them going, I'm going to say 12-5 for their record prediction for the Dolphins. For the Jets, I have them going 10-7, and for the Patriots, I have them going 1-16.
That's honestly not crazy to me. The Patriots are just their O-line is horrible. They lost 2 of their best players on the front seven. Eli, will go to you. Your AFC East predictions. I don't know if George is gonna like this one, but go ahead, Eli.
Before I get to my thoughts, how dare you put the Jets at number 1 at 13-4? How is that even possible? And you're saying to go 17-0. Hold on. I mean, really, that is going too crazy. The guy just came out of whale noise retreats, and you're gonna have him go at number 1.
Can I say one thing?
Whale noise
Can I
retreats.
say one thing?
He played 4 plays in 1 game. He played better in the preseason versus the New York Giants. He hasn't played 1 preseason game this entire year. That's a little ridiculous here.
Can I say one thing?
Go ahead before I make my picks. Go ahead.
When the Jets first got Aaron Rodgers, did you see them as a playoff team?
No.
No.
No?
No.
Oh, come on. There was hype. This is a better team.
There was hype. But that
you
was
see
it.
that? You see them beating the Vikings?
He was walking out of the tunnel with the American flag on 9/11. That's the only thing that he was good at that entire game.
That was pretty cool, though.
It was cool, but that was it.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
I'll let you talk.
Back to my thoughts. This is an interesting division because we've seen a decrease in the AFC East. This is one of those divisions where they ain't not that good at all. They're like the NFC North a little bit, where they could be competing a little bit for the top spot. But here, I'm going to go with the number 1 seed, number 1 in the AFC East, with number 3 overall in the AFC in my book, the Miami Dolphins at 12-5. That's who I have. I like Tua. I like his contract. Not the highest paid. He is going to go and bring this Dolphins team to number 1 and win the AFC East. Number 2, okay, the Buffalo Bills, 11-6. Go ahead. Goodbye. Bye-bye. 11-6. I believe that the Buffalo Bills, despite having some issues, they're still going to have a strong season and still finish 2nd place. Number 3, the New England Patriots at 6-11. they will still have a better season than the New York Jets.
Oh no. Well, he
And
left.
finally,
So.
the New York Jets at number 4.
What's their record, Eli? Still out.
They're gonna have the same record as the Patriots at 6-11. But the
6.
Patriots
Okay.
will still come out in 3rd place, though.
So the
Both
Jets are in 4th
missed the
place.
playoffs.
Oh my
But you
god.
cannot give 13-4 to the New York Jets. I don't care if you could put them at number 2. You could put them at number 3. In my book, they're going to number 4. I want to know what the comments are saying. I know Eli.
Well, this is taking a turn.
This is anarchy.
Oh, that's an interesting.
You
word to
cannot
use.
go and give the New York Jets 13-4.
That doesn't mean
That
you
is
put them
why-
in 4th place. That doesn't
No,
mean
they're
you
not.
put them in
Eli,
4th.
they're
He
not.
just
in 4th
came out of
place.
whale noise retreats. How could you say that the New York Jets are going to have? How can I give high expectations
Who's
for the
Josh
New York
Allen
Jets?
going to throw to himself?
They'll still have a better season than the New York Jets.
You think Keon Coleman and
Absolutely.
Marquise Scainleg is better than Garrett
Everybody-
Wilson and Mike Williams?
They will
Marquise
have a
Scout.
better season than the New York Jets.
Do you
That's
think
it.
James Cook is not better than Brees Hall? Garrett's not better than Keon. Mike Williams not better than MVS. And then you look at the defense. You cannot look me dead in the eye. Tell me the Bills' defense is better than the Jets. Keep a straight face. Keep a straight face.
You can agree with that. I can agree with you on that one. The Jets
Okay.
do have a
And the
little bit better
offense,
defense, but
I
doesn't
just
matter.
broke it down
At the end of the
position
day,
by
it comes
position.
down to the offense. Eli, leave Rodgers alone if you want to.
Ayahuasca. Let him be. All right.
He
Well,
lives up the
I mean,
street from me.
I'm gonna jump in
Well,
here
that's
and
good
just
for
real
him.
quick because we have
Tell
to
him,
move
I
tell
tell
him
it
my
all the
thoughts
time.
then, real quick. Then tell him my thoughts then.
Oh my god. Okay. Let me just say real quick that I understand you're comparing player by player by position, but I mean, let's be honest here. Brees Hall was better than James Cook last year. Garrett Wilson was better than Stephon Diggs last year. And what happened? The Bills still won the division. I don't think you could compare player by player.
Yeah, but who was
And-
throwing to Garrett Wilson? Zach Wilson? Come on. It's a
I
better
mean,
You're
situation.
saying though that Aaron Rodgers is going to survive all 18 games, hopefully not get injured, and hopefully
Maybe.
win games. Though, look at their schedule. They open up in San Francisco. Come on.
But
I
like
have
after
the
that,
loss
though,
to
they have
San
4
Francisco.
games.
Even if they win that game, they won Week 1 versus Buffalo last year.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it
was
doesn't
pretty
matter.
sick.
At least they have a better insurance if Rodgers gets hurt because Tyrod Taylor's a pretty good backup.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor.
But John, I want to bring
He's
John
good,
in here.
but
real
that's
quick.
not enough to get them into a 13-4 record.
Wait, hang on, Eli. Hang on. I'm gonna bring John
It's
in
not
here.
enough to drop them to 4.
John, what are your overall? I just want to get your thoughts on Jets because it's a pretty sensitive topic, as we know. So just give a quick thought on the Jets, and then we're gonna go to the AFC South.
Come on, John.
I do not have the Jets going 13-4. Definitely not. But I do not think
That's right.
that you can discount Aaron Rodgers. And I was just laughing at the fact that both of you guys said he came out of listening to whale retreats or something you said. I was laughing at the fact that y'all said that because I found it hilarious.
I think the more hilarious part was seeing George walk off the set.
Well,
Because
I didn't think it would
versus
get
Buffalo,
worse.
I didn't even get to the Jets yet. I think that was the most hilarious part of the night.
Yeah,
I was coming back and then I heard the Jets in 4th place and then I just walked back away. I was just like, I'm not listening to this because that's just that's just wrong.
It's not wrong. You can't have them at 13-4 though.
no, you
Yeah,
can't. You
but you can't have them in 4th.
You can't have them
Yes,
in
you can.
fourth either.
Easily.
You can't have them in
Especially if
fourth
Aaron
either.
Rodgers not your quarterback, if he could survive the whole thing.
I'm the moderate one. I have it in between those two, so I'm the
Do you see
moderate
them in
one
4th?
here.
Do you see them in 4th?
Yes,
No.
I do. The Jets.
No.
Yes,
I'm asking
no,
Ja- I'm ask- I'm
no,
asking
no,
I'm asking
no,
Jack
no
and
way,
John.
No way. No way, Jose.
No.
No way, Jose.
You see
I
them
don't
making the
in fourth
playoffs?
place.
No,
I
nobody's
don't see
worse
them in
in that
fourth
division than the Patriots are.
Do you see them both
We'll
making
see
the
about
playoffs?
that. We'll see about
Do you
that.
see do you see the Jets making the playoffs?
No.
I do not. The AFC is a very loaded conference. If the Jets were in the NFC, they absolutely would make the playoffs. But they're in the AFC. This is a very difficult conference.
And you cannot rely on Tyrod
And-
Taylor as your backup plan.
And can I say one quick thing real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, as long as you say something good about the Jets. Nah, I'm kidding.
Oh my
Buffalo,
God.
I'm kidding.
Buffalo lost Stephon Diggs. Buffalo lost Stephon Diggs.
That's a good
they,
thing.
They replaced him with a lot of unproven
That's a fair point.
talent.
Oh.
Unproven talent. But we don't know what they're capable of at the NFL level. So
That's a fair point.
honestly, I have the Bills in a position where you're like, okay, is Josh Allen going to do something good this year? We don't know because he's
Still gonna have a better season than the
turnover
Patriots and
he's
Jets.
turnover prone, and he doesn't
The worst
protect
quarterback in the NFL.
And he's like, it's like, how do you have him? I agree with Jack when you were ranking the quarterbacks. I put him at probably number 6 in the league.
That's fair. Do you have like Justin Herbert over him? Is that why he's at 6?
Yes, I have Justin Herbert over him.
I'm just not as high on Justin Herbert as most people are, to be
Justin
honest.
Herbert is the same arm talent as Josh Allen, just Allen has actually won stuff.
Yeah, but
Let's move
okay.
along.
Good job, everyone. I mean, hey, that was great conversations. It's going to be a great season for sure. All right, let's go to the AFC South now. This is I'm going to start here with the AFC South, and then I'm going to John after this.
Fair.
So in the AFC South, I have the Houston Texans repeating as the division champs. 11 wins for the Texans. Very difficult schedule, that's for sure. But honestly, this team is really good. And honestly, I don't even think they need Stephon Diggs. That's just a luxury they have. Nico Collins is so underrated. One of the better receivers in the game. Like, I still think he's their top guy, number 1 receiver. Tank Dell had 7 touchdowns last year in 12 games. He's really good. Adding Joe Mixon to that team makes them really good. The O-line is much improved. Laramie Tunsil, one of the best left tackles in the league. And that defense, man, D'Amico Ryans is a heck of a coach. They added Daniil Hunter to that D-line to pair with Will Anderson Jr., who was good last year. He's only going to get better. They added Nico Autry. They have some good players there on that D-line. The secondary is very good as well. CJ Stroud, man, he's going to take that next step this year. He's going to be that MVP candidate. And fun fact about the Texans, the last 3 times they have won the division, they have repeated the next year. So 2011 and 2012, 2015 and 2016, and 2018 and 2019. So it's going to be 2023 and 2024. They are going to repeat 11 wins. The schedule is tough, but I like the Texans to repeat this division. All right, time for my team now. Finally, we can talk about my team. The Indianapolis Colts. Yes, I'm one of the only Colts fans out here, but I am very proud of my team. Lord have mercy on our secondary. But the rest of our team, if you take the secondary out of the equation, I think the Colts have one of the more balanced teams in the NFL, if we're being totally honest. Not one of the best teams in the NFL, one of the more balanced teams in the NFL. I think that's a big difference. We have had a top 3 O-line in the league for like the last 5 years, and we have the same starters coming back for this year. Our O-line's always going to be good. We talk about Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. That's only the second best quarterback, running back, rushing duo in the AFC. Let's talk about Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor. Who's going to stop them? Who's going to stop Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor?
Who's going to get injured first between Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor?
That's fair. Who's going to get injured first between Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry? They both had – Lamar Jackson has had many injuries. Derrick Henry had that foot injury a few years ago. Derrick Henry has a ton of mileage on his body, even from his days in Alabama. But, okay. All right, so you know me as a Colts fan. We have it probably worse than any other team in the league with injuries. So I'm just used to injuries at this point, to be honest. It's ridiculous. But if Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor stay healthy, who's stopping them? Jonathan Taylor, the last healthy season he had nearly 2,000 yards. He carried the Colts to 9 wins that year. We did not have a very good team. He carried us to 9 wins. And Anthony Richardson is going to have growing pains this year. I will admit that. His accuracy needs work. Other stuff needs work, but you look at the team we have around him. We have a very underrated receiving group of Michael Pittman Jr. Michael Pittman's a very underrated receiver.
Yeah,
people underrate him. Top 12 to 15 guy in the league, I would say. We drafted A.D. Mitchell, who was supposed to be a first-round pick. We got him at 52. We have Josh Downs, who's going to be one of the best slot receivers in the NFL soon. We have a good tight end room as well. You don't know any of the names, but they're all good. And on defense, we have a really good front seven. DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart. We drafted Laiatu Latu, first defensive player off the board. We have Zaire Franklin, who's led the league in tackles the last 2 years. EJ Speed's a good linebacker. The secondary is awful. We have probably the worst secondary in the league. We could probably win 11 or 12 games if we use the 85 Bears defense and do like the 46 defense, have 10 guys in the tackle box. But I have the Colts winning 10 games this year and getting a wild card spot. I forgot to say before at the AFC East, I have the Bills as the 4 seed. That's the only team in that division that makes it. So I have the Texans at 11-6 as the 2 seed, and I have the Colts at 10-7 as the final seed, the 7 seed getting in. The Colts are a very strong team. The schedule is relatively light, especially like the final stretch of the season. If you take the secondary out of the equation, the Colts are a pretty good team. I think Tennessee finishes in third. I think Tennessee had a very underrated offseason. They made a lot of moves. Calvin Ridley, L'Jarius Sneed, Tony Pollard, Lloyd Cushenberry, Tyler Boyd. They made a lot of good moves. And I honestly think Will Levis is a pretty solid quarterback. People don't like him, but I do. I think Tennessee finishes with 8 wins this year. I think they're an improved team. Oh, I forgot to mention before with the Colts. I talked about all those players. I think our biggest asset with the Colts is Shane Steichen more than anything. And then for the Jacksonville Jaguars, John, this is your team, but I'm sorry. I have the Jags finishing last in the AFC South this year, but I have them winning 8 games. I think this is a very underrated division. I think all 4 teams are going to be competitive, but I think the Jags are in last. I think Press Taylor as the offensive coordinator is very questionable. Is Trevor Lawrence going to take that next step forward? We've been waiting for it. But those are my thoughts on the AFC. Texans and Colts are the 2 teams that make it to the playoffs. John, you are next up. Go ahead with your AFC South takes.
Okay. So y'all are not going to like what I have my team doing, but I'm going to save that for a little later. The Texans, I did not have them winning the division. One, because we don't know if C.J. Stroud will make the next step. We don't know how good he's going to be in the second year because he only has 1 year of work. 1 year. And yes, don't get me wrong, he had a great rookie season. But if you think about it, yes, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, and Nico Autry. I said Nico Autry. Nico Collins. I couldn't think of the guy's name. That's a pretty good wide receiving duo. Outside of Stephon Diggs, I don't think Stephon Diggs, if he doesn't stay healthy, the Texans are going to lose a lot more games than we think they are because he's not healthy. I have them finishing in second place, the Texans. I have the Colts finishing in third. I'm sorry, Jack, but I have them finishing in third. Because we don't know if Anthony Richardson's going to stay healthy. We don't know what his capabilities are. And because, like I said, he's never been healthy all of his career. He's never been healthy. So, and then I have the Tennessee Titans finishing in fourth. Only because we don't know what Will Levis is capable of yet. He didn't play as a full-time starter last year. I don't think he did. Did he or did he not?
He did not. He had a foot injury at the end of the year, and he wasn't the starter to begin the season. It was
right. So yeah, he didn't play a full season, so we still don't know what he's capable of. And yes, you could say that Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence and the Jags will win the division. I'm sorry, I think they won the division. Doug Peterson. I'm just going to say it off the top. Doug Peterson. Outside of that 1 year in Philadelphia where I don't remember what the record was. It was a bad record, obviously. That 1 year in Philadelphia, and then they fired him, which they shouldn't have. Do y'all agree with me on that? Do y'all think that Philly should have fired Doug Peterson as the head coach?
That's a 50-50 on that one. After he left, the Philadelphia Eagles all of a sudden became good again. But yes,
I'll
you can
agree with John on that.
Because he did win the Super Bowl for them. You can make that argument as well.
I'll definitely agree with John.
The way I see it is Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz were always grouped together. They started together in Philly the same year. So really, if Carson Wentz were to fail, then Doug Peterson would go as well. And Carson Wentz had a horrible 2020 season, so I think it was inevitable they were going to fire.
I have more things to say about the AFC South.
Go ahead.
I just didn't. So I think that Trevor Lawrence will win. Will compete in the division. Obviously, we paid him all that money, and then we got Gabe Davis from Buffalo. We got Christian Kirk, Brian Thomas Jr., which I think he's going to have a pretty solid season. I think 1,000 yards for Brian Thomas Jr. And I think you're not going to like my offensive rookie of the year candidate either. But I'll get into that later. The Colts, the Jaguars. I have them winning the division. Take into consideration, I do think they'll lose to Miami, but they do have to play the Browns, which I think is a winnable game for them. The Browns is a winnable game. Buffalo, I think that's a winnable game. Who do we play week 4?
I don't know the full schedule, but I
Texans.
think you play Las Vegas. Oh, yeah.
I have
Texans
the
week
schedule
4.
up, actually.
Texans, yeah.
You guys play Texans week 4, yeah.
Okay, so I think we split with the Texans.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Split. I think we beat the Colts both times. I'm sorry, Jack. I haven't beaten the Colts
That's fair.
both
It's not a
times.
crazy take.
And I actually have them. I'm gonna go bold, and I'm not gonna say split with the Texans. I'm gonna say we go and we sweep the Texans.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say we sweep the Texans.
Well, John, let me tell you this one thing. I have advice for you. Move the Jacksonville Jaguars to London. They'll go 17-0. If you manage to move the Jacksonville Jaguars to London, they'll go 17-0. They never lose in London.
They still got to play in the United States though, so you got to minus like 8 or 9 games of that.
Somehow manage to make all their games be in London. Have them all be neutral site games.
No.
17-0.
No. I
No.
don't want them to move to London. And plus, we just signed the stadium deal for 30 years.
Yeah,
Why would you move them to London? Why would
So they
you
can
do
win
that?
more games.
Why would you do that?
So they can
Well,
win
it's
more
still
games.
not going to help the playoff run though.
The jet lag from all the teams coming over is going to help you win.
I think the Jaguars will win the division. I just do. I mean, if you look at what Doug Peterson has done in his first year, Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence took him to the playoffs. We were down 27-0 in the divisional in the wild card round. Came back down from a 27-0 lead.
Great game. That was
Chargers
great
had
game.
a 27-0 lead, and then Trevor Lawrence threw 4 interceptions, and we still managed to come back in a 27-0 deficit. That was the second or third largest playoff comeback in NFL history.
Yeah, that was an awesome game. I think that was more so the Chargers giving that game away, though. But you said it's the third largest comeback win in the playoffs. You know who's higher than that? The Colts, who came back from down 28 against the Kansas City Chiefs a decade ago. That was my first game I ever watched. Best game I've ever watched. It was an unbelievable game.
And then the other thing I was gonna say is, then we went toe to toe with the Super Bowl champs. We went toe to toe with Kansas City. We went toe to toe with them. We lost by 1 touchdown. 1 touchdown in the entire game. If we would have scored 1 more touchdown, which we were so close to doing, we would have been the AFC Championship game.
That's fair. All right, so that's so you've got Jaguars winning the division. So,
I got Jaguars winning the division. Yes.
Let's go to George for his AFC South predictions.
All right. Well, let me just start off, John. You're not gonna like this. So I got the Texans winning. I see them going 2-5. This is a very good team. What you said about Nick Foles and Doug Peterson, like that could happen with D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud, just having that instant connection. And this wide receiver room has an argument to be one of the best 1 through 3. I mean, I'm big on Tank Dell. I'm big on Nico Collins. And the great thing kind of is they all kind of are different receivers, the 3 of them, which is also very good. It's good. It's always a good problem when you have too many good guys. All 3 of those guys could go on a team and be the number 1 receiver. So I have them winning. I really like their defense. Second place, I have the Colts. See them going 9-8, not making the playoffs. But I will say this I feel like will be a learning year for the Colts because I think they are starting to get the pieces. Let me just say I think they have the most underrated receiving. What?
Isn't that every year?
This is the first time, though, they've had these guys all fully healthy in the same team. This is going to be the first year you're going to have Richardson with Taylor, with Downs. Like, I'm also a big fan of Alec Pierce. I think he can make some plays for you. Not a fan of him? mean,
Yeah, well, I mean, he's just been very underwhelming. But to be fair, he's never had a quarterback who could throw a good deep ball. But the thing with Alec Pierce is that he's a one-trick pony, right? He's
Yeah.
great at those one-on-one matchups down the field. That is his specialty. He's great at doing that. He's like Deshaun Jackson at the end of his career, having these like long touchdowns out of nowhere. But
yeah,
Alec Pierce is going to be that guy. He's not going to get as many snaps as last year. He's going to be that home run hitter off the bench if we're making a baseball comparison. You're going to bring him in. You're going to run him down the field. He's a great one-on-one matchup, but if he can expand his route tree, he's going to be much better. We need him to because Josh Downs is hurt right now. We're not sure when he'll be back. So
yeah. But let me just say this: it's an underrated receiving room, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're great. I think Pittman, he's good. I want to put him into an elite category, and I feel
no, I
like
don't either.
I feel like the teams they're going to compete against all have elite wide receivers, so that's also a thing. But it's a learning season. So in third place, I have the Jaguars. I actually had them. I had to rework this a little. I was looking at it, making some thoughts. I had the Jaguars like winning 4 games, but now I have them. I know I had to do some thinking. I have them 6-11. The Jaguars.
Oh no.
I don't have them winning 4, but I have them 6-11. Let me just pull up the whole thing I have. So yeah, I have them. I have them splitting with the Texans. I think I have them sweeping the Colts, but not. Yeah, they're
No.
sweeping the Colts, but I don't see it. I really don't. Trevor Lawrence had the pieces last year. He had the pieces. You had Calvin Ridley. You had Evan Ingram. You had Travis Etienne. That's a good situation. Plus, I mean, he's a very good quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. You had the pieces. You didn't even make the playoffs last year with the pieces. Yeah, you can jump in. I know you got to defend your team.
One thing real quick.
Sure.
Okay. You also have to take in consideration Trevor Lawrence wasn't healthy all season. But when he was healthy, we started out the season 8-3. 8-3, we started out the season.
Yeah.
And we lost the last 5 games.
That's
so when
fair.
he was healthy, we were competing with any team we played.
You have a tough schedule, though. You really do have a tough schedule coming ahead.
You have 3 playoff teams to open up the season in a row.
You
Miami.
You have the Dolphins, the Bills, the Texans. You have the Bears. I'll throw in too because the Bears improved a lot. The Eagles, the Lions. I mean, those
How
are
have
all.
you not even mentioned the Jets yet? That's your favorite team. They play the Jets this year.
Yeah,
I can't believe you taking this long to mention the Jets.
I'll come down to earth and say the Jets aren't on the same level as the Lions, Eagles, and Texans. But you have a lot of good teams, and I think also I like Brian Thomas a lot. Though let me just say that
I don't think 6-11 is good enough. I just don't. I don't see.
This is just a prediction too. The NFL is so crazy with how fast things can change.
I understand. It's just a prediction. Let me ask you Let me ask all of you guys one question.
Okay.
Besides you, what's your name again? The
I'm George.
Just talking. George. Okay.
Yeah.
Besides you, George, because you already gave your prediction. Jack and Elijah, do you have the Jaguars going 6-11?
No. I have the Jags winning 8 games, which is, I think, fair. But, Eli, I'm going to go to you to give you your AFC South predictions.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap
up the Titans.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah,
okay, go ahead.
Titans.
I'll make it quick. So the Titans, I have them at the same record, 6-11. I like the Mayo Man. I'm a big Will Levis fan, actually. I just feel like they don't have the pieces yet. I feel like they have the start.
What are you concerned about? What positions with them?
I just feel like the talent isn't there. I feel like Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins should not be competing for the number 1 receiving spot. I feel like both of them are now one wide receiver 1 quality. I just feel like it's a talent thing. I feel like Will Levis, if you give him good receivers, he can lead a team. It's just the situation he's in right now. I think they can build on this, which is the conversation you can make for all the teams in this division. They have stuff they could build on. The Jaguars, I don't think all those guys are top guys, but they're solid. You could definitely build on it. And who knows what Brian Thomas brings to the table. I really do think he could be an elite type receiver. we just never know. I'm a big Will Levis guy, though. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this division.
Yeah. Go ahead, Eli.
Okay, I'm gonna get to my thoughts. I know we're running late on time, so I'm gonna try to be quick here. Houston Texans, plain and simple. Number one, I liked them last year. I like them again. 11-6 is how they end. They're gonna be fourth in the AFC overall. Jacksonville, number two, 9-8. I like Jacksonville a lot. They had a rough season last year, but the year before they did pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and give them some hope this year. 9-8. They finish 7 and make a playoff spot. Just inch through. The Colts, 9-8, but missed the playoffs. That's how I view it here. They're in third place. Tennessee, 7-10. Not much more to say on the Tennessee side of things, and we can go right along to the West.
I feel like we all have like the same like kind of like beliefs about like this is definitely the division that we're like the closest aligned on, which is good.
Yeah.
I just like
Which is
again,
very good.
I will say, George, I like your take about the Colts. How I see it this year, I'd rather miss the playoffs, but have Anthony Richardson like develop and show that he could be good than like have him get hurt again and have like Joe Flacco like barely lead us into the playoffs and then get blown out in the first round. That's how I
But
see
back
it.
to George's take, though. He mentioned it was a learning year. I believe it's a learning year for the Colts every single year because when you have
This
a
is the
playoff
first
run,
year that we've had all these guys. The Colts have
Well,
had all these guys together.
It doesn't, Eli. It's not a learning year for the Colts every year. Come on. I mean, we had Jeff Saturday as our head coach 2 years ago. Is that really a learning season?
I'll say that. I'll say this. There's a
fair point.
There's a big difference between a learning year and a bad year.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference between having a bad season, like probably what the Patriots are going to do, than having a season like the Colts, where you have some highlights, you learn a lot, and the team just gets better. Because I don't see the Patriots coming out with anything this season.
You could
Maybe
argue
that
last year
Joe
was a learning
Milton's a
year
better
too,
quarterback.
even with Gardner Minshew.
We did
What
win
do you
9
mean?
games with Gardner last year. That's crazy. Oh, I think John
disconnected.
left. Yeah. I let me just say though, real quick about the Colts. Pray for our secondary, please. We can take all the prayers we can get for our secondary.
Yeah.
It's the worst in the league. And at the same time, man, we have the absolute worst GM in the entire NFL. I don't care what anyone says. I would take any GM in the NFL, any GM over Chris Ballard. Nobody is worse than Chris Ballard. He's an absolute joke. I can't stand him.
Yeah.
We'll
Time
see
for
if
the
we
West.
get. Yep, AFC West. I will go first here. I'll try to be quick because I think the AFC West we can all agree on mostly here. The Chiefs are
Yes,
going
I
to
think
repeat
so.
as the division champs for the. I believe this will be the 9th straight year they would repeat as division champs from 2016 all the way through 2024.
They could go for 3-peat.
12-5, top
That
in the
just makes my
AFC.
stomach hurt.
George, I think we disagree here a little bit because you said the Jets are 13-4, right? And they're the 4 seed in the AFC, or did you mean they were the 1 seed in the AFC?
The Jets are not going to be the 1 seed. I'll say that. They're the 3.
So you think 13-4 is only good enough for the 3 seed?
That's what I have, because I have the top 3 being the Chiefs, number 2 the Ravens, number 3 the Jets.
I can't wait to see this Chiefs win.
Okay, I think.
I can't wait to see this pick.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I said, you had 13-4 for the Jets. I want to see what your pick is.
All right, we're
the
Eli.
Chiefs.
We're past the Jets at this point. We have to move on. Chiefs at 12-5. I disagree with you, George. I think 12-5 is enough to get the top seed in the AFC. This is a very competitive division. All these teams are going to be playing each other. I don't think anyone's going to really pull away and have that many wins. So Chiefs at 12-5. I love what the Chiefs did to their receiving room. They brought in Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy to add with. Well, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with Rashee Rice. He might get suspended, but we'll just have to see.
He should.
And, shout out to my guy from Rutgers, Isaiah Pacheco, absolute Rutgers legend.
Big
Go
fan,
RU. And then second place, I have, this might be surprising. In second place, I have the Las Vegas Raiders in second place, and I have them going 8-9. I just absolutely love, and Antonio Pierce is one of my favorite head coaches in the league. Just like what he did last year, going into that situation, I thought it was really good. That defense is so good. Max Crosby is just unbelievable. Why he's an animal, just like watching him on TV. They have some good. I like adding Brock Bowers. You have Michael Mayer, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. But what's the quarterback situation? Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. Neither of them are really, pushing the button for me, I guess you could say. Gardner won 9 games last year, but he was with Shane Steichen. Shane Steichen was the reason we won 9 games last year, not Gardner Minshew. Let's be totally honest here. I mean, Luke Getsy is their new offensive coordinator. Did you see how bad he was with Chicago last year? He would call plays where 2 receivers would run into each other, and the play would be completely blown up. So, I I just don't really trust that. And also, I think Devontae Adams might get traded very soon, potentially at the deadline. I'm sure you heard about the Devontae Adams to the Jets rumors, George, being
Don't
a
want
Jets
it.
fan.
Don't want him.
Why not?
Because we have 3 big players that we're going to have to pay, being Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, and Sauce. And I would rather have the 3 of them in their prime for like another 5 years than Devontae Adams going out of his prime. That's what I'll say.
Well, how many years does Devontae Adams have left on his contract? Like 2 or 3?
Let me see right here.
Because if he was like you could just get him as like a rental and just have it like
Well,
that.
Brees is a free agent next year.
Yeah.
He wasn't a first-round pick.
I'm sorry, guys.
No issue, John. You're totally fine. You didn't really miss much. We're on the AFC West right now, so I'm just gonna finish my thoughts real quick.
He's a free agent next year, Devontae.
Yeah, honestly, you should consider like trading for him as a rental and then not paying him. He's a little older, so you could just get him as a rental, and he probably won't cost as much either to get into trade.
Yeah, well, the Jets love old players past their prime. We learned so.
Yep. So Raiders in second. I have the Denver Broncos in third at 6-11. Eli's favorite team. I think Bo Nix has looked really good in the preseason. Sean Payton is, of course, a Super Bowl winning head coach. I had the Broncos a little lower initially, but after seeing them in the preseason, I have them a little higher. They're still going to have growing pains. I mean, we've seen Bo Nix play well against backup defenses. How is he going to play against starting defenses? That's the question. Cortland Sutton is another player who I think is going to get traded at the trade deadline. There's been rumors about that as well. Their defense is underrated, but I think it's going to be a year of growing pains for the Broncos. But I think the next year, 2025, they'll be ready to contend in this division. And then in last place, surprisingly, the Los Angeles Chargers. I have the Chargers winning just 6 games this year. I'm sorry. You can't just say just because Jim Harbaugh is coming in to be the new head coach that they're going to be a playoff team. Have you seen this offense? The offense is a disaster. I mean, Justin Herbert being hurt is not ideal, especially when he has to learn a new system there in Los Angeles. The O-line is it's decent, but it's not anything too special. And who is catching the football from Justin Herbert? I mean, Quentin Johnston can't catch he can't catch anything, apparently. Lad McConkey, is he really the answer? They should have taken like a Malik Neighbors or a Marvin Harrison Jr., but I understand that the Chargers want to build a rush-first offense. That's what Jim Harbaugh does, but is that really what you want to do with Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins as your top 2 running backs? And the defense, there's a lot of talent on this defense. Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Asante Samuel, Derwin James, but can these guys stay healthy? The Chargers are probably the most injury-prone team in the NFL, and we know what the Chargers do. They find the most amazing ways to blow games. Every single year they find a way to do it. Blew a 27-point lead in the playoffs. They back in 2020, 4 straight weeks, they blew a 16-point lead. 4 consecutive weeks, they blew a 16-point lead. I will never be a believer in the Chargers until they actually prove to me that they can close out games and that they can be consistent. So Chargers in last at 6-11. I will go to Eli first for this one. So AFC West.
Okay, so I'll do again speed up because we do our running late on time here. Kansas City, plain and simple. Number 1, 12-5 is where they end up. I like Patrick Mahomes, and they're going to go for a 3-peat is my prediction and my guess. Las Vegas Raiders are ending up in second place, missing the playoffs at 8-9. I like Gardner Minshew from last year with the Colts, and I think he's having a great year with the Las Vegas Raiders. Denver Broncos go 8-9 in third place. I like Denver this year because Russell Wilson's not on the team. So I think that they could still have a possibility. So I think they're going to tie with the Raiders, but the Raiders are going to end up in second place, though. Chargers 7-10. They already got stuck in an elevator. You already know bad luck is on their way. So Chargers at 4th, 7-10. Denver and LV at 8-9, second and third, and Kansas City at 12-5 and number 1.
We're very similar with that, Eli. I'll go to you next, George. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I know Eli was saying he's scared to see the Chiefs pick. It's not that bad. It's 14-3. I have them at the 1 seed. What? You don't think that they're like? Who are they going to lose to? Maybe the Ravens. Maybe the Ravens.
13.
Their first 2 games are rough. Their first 2 games are very rough.
You can't do that. I mean, that's a lot.
It's not crazy. I only have 12 wins. I have 12 wins, which is pretty close.
A lot of wins.
Them as the top seed, but I just think that the Chiefs have some tough games, honestly. So
they do, but I mean, there's not much to argue to. I mean,
it's the Chiefs, though, so
it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to say they're going to be first. It's not like these are They're not competing for like a spot. They're obviously going to be first. Second place might shock some people. It's the Chargers going 9-8. Their schedule is easy. Do you really think they're gonna lose to the Panthers? They're gonna lose to the Broncos. Maybe I have them splitting with the Broncos. Lose to the Saints. Lose to the Bucks. Lose to they have such an easy schedule.
Lose to the Bucks. The Bucks won the division last year. That's a little
Yeah, but still,
like the Chargers. They find the most amazing ways to blow these games. Remember, they gave the Browns their first win of the season back in 2016. The Browns were 0-14, and then they somehow beat the Chargers.
That's 2016, and I really don't like it when people just bring up past. Like, this is a completely different team from 2016.
Chargers have never changed.
And don't bring up them losing to Jacksonville in the playoffs, because this is regular season. I don't care if they choke in the postseason, because this is a regular season prediction, and I don't have them making the playoffs. Third, I have the Raiders going 5-10. Big fan of Gardner Minshew. Big fan of Zamir White. But I really don't see that much eliteness. I really think Max Crosby's a very good player. But I don't really see them putting it together. This could be a learning year. Last place, I have the Denver Broncos going 3-14.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think they're terrible. I really do. I really like PS2, Patrick Surtain. I think he's phenomenal. But other than that, I don't see talent. I see Bo Nix.
But they were bad because of Russell Wilson.
No, they weren't. Why do you?
There was so much worse than that. There was so many.
It was Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson
was not all Russell.
Last year.
I believe it was all Russell. We're going to see that this year.
Sean Payton made it clear, like very early in the season last year, that he did not want Russell Wilson. That already ruined the whole season for them.
Yeah.
To be honest. So.
They lost Jerry Jeudy.
So it had a factor in with
number
Russell
one receiver.
I don't know if Jerry Jeudy's really a big loss. He's kind of just been very underwhelming, in my opinion. Just drops so many easy passes.
Still, though, that was probably your best receiver because Courtland Sutton didn't see as much action. So that was probably your best receiver. You lost Courtland Sutton, though I'm a big fan of.
He might get traded.
Yeah, that too. I don't see it. I like Bo Nix, but I feel like this is a terrible team to be drafted to for Bo Nix. I feel bad for the guy because I do think he has some talent. I do, but it's tough. You have to play the Chiefs, which is also bad, even though I have them splitting with the Chiefs because that's what they did last year. So you never know, though.
If Sean Payton could do to Bo Nix what he did to Drew Brees, then we're going to have problems in the NFL for the next few years.
John, you cannot compare those two. Do not compare Bo Nix.
Same head coach. Same head coach.
So the Chiefs, y'all are not gonna like this prediction because I have them. I do not have them repeating as Super Bowl champs, but they're going for a three-peat. But I do have them making the playoffs, and I do have them going. I'll say 14 wins.
That's what I have.
14,
yeah, that's
14 fair. And 2. I'll say 14-2. 14-2 is their record prediction. And then the Raiders, I have them missing the playoffs.
Okay.
You're not going to like the division because I have the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Broncos. I'm sorry, Eli, all missing the playoffs.
I agree with that.
I have the Raiders, Chargers, and Broncos all missing the playoffs.
I agree as well.
I've agreed with John this whole show, basically. He knows ball.
Except for the Jets missing the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
He has to make
it
right.
My mistake. I forgot the Raiders. The Raiders also missing the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
You think the Raiders make the playoffs?
No, he said he doesn't, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
I said I don't think because Gardner Minshew didn't perform well when he was with us, and I just that was a disaster waiting to happen.
I want to bring this up. Oh, go ahead, John. Finish, and then I'll say something real quick.
So, but I do think the Chiefs will win the division.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Jason.
Mahomes will probably. I wouldn't be surprised if Mahomes wins MVP.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
I wouldn't be surprised if he wins MVP. I also wouldn't be surprised if Xavier Worthy wins Rookie of the Year.
Ooh, that's interesting. I like that.
I that's a fair take for sure. I want to bring this up. I'm not talking about Drew Brees at the end of his career. I'm talking about Drew Brees when he got disowned by the or by the San Diego Chargers at that time. The Chargers threw Drew Brees away like garbage and drafted Phillip Rivers. I mean, nobody thought Drew Brees could be a good quarterback. He was 5'10". He was like a short quarterback. He had a shoulder injury. Nobody thought Drew Brees could be good, and not many people think Bo Nix can be good. So I'm not talking about Drew Brees at the end of his career. I'm talking about Drew Brees when nobody believed in him. So that's like the comparison I'm making, to be honest.
Are we going to do the awards?
Yes, we're going to go to the awards. We're going to wrap
awards.
it up.
All right, so we'll start off with MVP. My MVP, man, last year I picked Trevor Lawrence, and I was let down. That was not a good pick.
Let me guess, Mike Tomlin? I'm kidding.
No. I mean, coaches can't win MVP. No, but we're going to stay in the AFC North. My MVP pick this season is Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh.
The two seasons Joe Burrow's been fully healthy, the Bengals have made it to the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship game, respectively. Joe Burrow is, man, he's good. You know, I think the Jamar Chase situation will get figured out before the season starts. I love what John said about, I think, yeah, you're the one who said about Jermaine Burton. I think he's a really underrated player. Zach Moss, former Colt, so I get to speak about him. Good running back. He really helped us last year in many different games. And Lou Anarumo, that defense has to be better than they were last year. I think Joe Burrow leads the division title, and I think he has the best statistical season of his career and wins MVP. Eli, who is your MVP pick for the 2024 season?
CJ Stroud of the Houston Texans.
That was my second pick. Pick. How about you, George? MVP pick?
Patrick Mahomes. Really can't go against it. Because, look, he's got receivers coming to him. I like Hollywood Brown. I like Xavier Worthy. I feel like that will be a very good team if you add Rashid Rice. You also have Pacheco and Kelsey. And he's Patrick Mahomes. They're going to be a little biased to him, as much as I hate to admit. And you cannot deny the talent. This is a generational player. So you got to put him for MVP, I feel like. I like the CJ Stroud pick, though.
How about you, John?
Can I say one quick thing on George's take real quick?
Go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, you do know that Rashid Rice has some off-the-field issues, and Hollywood Brown is also injured. So I don't have the Chiefs starting off that hot, but I think they'll figure it out. I do think Mahomes will win MVP. Well, I'll get in. That's what I was going to get into later. But go ahead, George.
No, I just said fair. I agree with what you said about Rice and Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I mean, I could have picked Mahomes, but I mean, he probably can and will win MVP, but that's like the boring picks. Like I try to go with like something like a little more fun, honestly.
I almost went Jordan Love.
I love Jordan Love. No pun intended, but all right.
He's a stud.
Offensive Player of the Year. This is gonna be a hot take, but man, this guy might be like one of my 3 or 5 favorite players in the NFL right now. It's not a quarterback, it's not a running back. I am going with, for Offensive Player of the Year, the wide receiver of the Detroit Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown. That is my Offensive Player of the Year pick.
Wow.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. The guy tore his league off the bone last year, played the whole season. How did he play through that? And he had 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns. If you
love
watch
that pick, love that pick.
He set his goal last year to be 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns, and he set that goal. That's exactly what he did. This guy is special. I don't expect Jameson Williams to really be that guy. Jahmyr Gibbs is dealing with some injuries. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to have a massive year. Give me Amon-Ra St. Brown to win Offensive Player of the Year for the Detroit Lions. Let's go. Go ahead, Eli.
Offensive Player of the Year. No running back, no wide receiver, no quarterback. This person deserves it. And I think the hype is going to be on him even more this year, especially with extra fans watching out for him.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, come on.
Do you guys know?
Travis Kelce.
There you go, Travis Kelce.
Oh, boy. All right, well, George, go ahead. How about you?
Hate, but the Swifties all love him.
I was honestly going to say Amon-Ra, but this guy, I cannot deny the talent. I cannot deny the team that's built around him. He is so good, so very good. I'm going to have to go with Brees Malik Hall of the New York Jets. Probably the best running back in the AFC. He's really good. He almost got 1,000 yards with an injured knee and the worst offensive line, one of the worst offensive lines of all time. And you cannot deny the talent. Now you have a good O-line. And now you're sending him out there? I mean, come on. This kid is special. He's built different. He was made in a lab. He is absolutely terrific. Breece Hall is your offensive player of the year.
Iowa State proud, Breece Hall. How about you, John? Your offensive player of the year.
Uh-oh, you're not going to like this one.
Who is it?
Someone from my Jaguars.
Hmm.
Who is it?
Evan Ingram.
Travis
Nope.
Etienne.
Nope.
Brian Thomas.
The rookie, Brian Thomas.
As offensive player of the year or offensive rookie of the year?
Offensive rookie of the year.
Oh, offensive. We're doing offensive player of the year.
Player.
Yeah.
Well, offensive. I think he'll win either offensive player of the year or offensive rookie of the year.
All right, that's a very hot
Okay.
take. It's fair though. I mean, Brian Thomas can be really good. We'll have to see what happens. We're gonna go now to offensive rookie of the year. You guys are probably all gonna pick quarterbacks. I am not picking a quarterback.
I'm not.
I am going with Marvin Harrison Jr. of the Arizona Cardinals. That is my offensive rookie
Wow!
of the year pick.
Wow!
I mean,
wow!
who is gonna stop this
Wow.
guy? I mean, there is no other
The
receiver. in
Seattle
Arizona to stop-
Seahawks.
Okay, Eli, we're not talking about the Seahawks right now. I'm talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. because
Just wanna point that out.
Witherspoon.
yeah, Witherspoon's good, but again, we'll have to see. But if Marvin Harrison Jr. is half the player that his father was, oh my goodness, he is going to be a special player. And again, he's going to be the number one target in Arizona this year. I mean, Trey McBride's a good tight end, but there is no receiver to challenge him in that group. Marvin Harrison Jr. with Kyler Murray is going to be must-see TV. Marvin Harrison Jr., my offensive rookie of the year pick. How about you, Eli?
Spoiler alert for next week. This team may or may not be my top two. May or may not.
No way.
Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. I love them in the preseason.
Oh, I like that pick.
They
I
are
like-
going to do it this year. The offensive rookie of the year. Give me Jaden Daniels. Watch this.
I like
Commanders
that,
end
Eli.
up winning the
I'm
East.
more confused about the Commanders being a top 2 team.
Top 2 team in the East. In the East.
Oh, top two in like the NFC
Yes,
East.
that's what I referred
So you
to.
think they're
Clarify
better?
it.
Do you think they have a chance to be better than the Cowboys and the Eagles?
That is correct. Because remember,
Oh no.
last year, that is correct. Because remember, there was no repeating winner in the NFC
Stop with
East.
the superstitions in this. Like, come on.
Listen, Dallas won it last year. The division. Ain't gonna be Philadelphia. Give me Washington. Jaden Daniels is a fantastic quarterback to do it. So give me
No,
Jaden Daniels.
Eli. No,
The
Eli.
Jets
no.
are going to win
That's
the
the
the Jets are going to win the Super Bowl because Aaron Rodgers is listening to dolphin noises.
Can I cut in real quick?
Yes, go ahead.
So, I
Wow.
love Jack's pick for Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm all on the Amon-Ra St. Brown hype train. I love your pick, Jack. I agree with you.
Thank you. I'm very proud of it.
But I really think that the Commanders are on their way. You have a new head coach, new quarterback, and you got new players and a new coach. I think the Commanders could have a really good season if Jaden Daniels stays healthy and they have a good offensive line.
That's fair. George, your
Offensive
offensive rookie of the year
defense.
pick.
Jason, I saw your comment real quick before we get to George. I just wanted to say this. I don't care where you put Seattle out there. This is the true facts that you have right here.
All right,
This is
George, go
true
ahead. Your
facts. I
offensive
don't wanna
rookie
hear
of the
nothing.
year.
It's gonna be a good show.
All right, let's give it my offensive rookie of the year pick. I'm kind of on the fence. 2 wide receivers, but I'm going to give it to Marvin Harrison, and here's why. I think I was debating Rome Odunze. I think Odunze might be a better player, but you look at his situation, he has so much competition for targets, and Marvin Harrison doesn't. So I feel like Marvin Harrison's going to fly. I will say, though, I feel like Caleb's going to favorite Odunze heavily. I really feel like he will, but I mean, he's the only option to throw to in Arizona. Trey McBride's great, but as far as wide receivers go, not much else to throw to, which is why I'm going to give it to Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think this is the first
Go ahead,
time that me and you have agreed all video with these awards picks.
Yeah.
But
Only
hey,
took 90
I'll
minutes to
take
do
it.
so.
Defensive.
I like Dom and Rod though. I like Dom and Rod too.
Defensive player.
Defensive player of the year. Give me. This might surprise you guys. It might not. It might surprise you guys. It's his year. Max Crosby of the Las Vegas Raiders. Honestly, Max Crosby is honestly find a better fit for a team than Max Crosby and the Raiders. Max Crosby is like the perfect example of what the Las Vegas Raiders are, to be honest. Like with like the history they've had always. Yeah. Max Crosby, my defensive player of the year. He's not going to have the highest sack numbers in the NFL, but this guy's an animal. He's always in the backfield. He's always disrupting the game wherever he plays. You can double team him. It doesn't matter. Max Crosby's a great player. I agree with you, George. I think TJ Watt is the best defensive player in the game. I don't know how Myles Garrett won defensive player of the year over him last year. That was ridiculous, but I'm going with Max Crosby, though, my defensive player of the year pick.
Can I also say one quick thing real quick?
Yep.
I don't understand how Josh Hines-Allen was out of there last year. I really don't.
That's fair.
I don't understand it.
So underrated, that guy.
Yeah, really,
My
for sure.
pick for defensive player of the year, Davon Witherspoon. He had such a great rookie year last year, and he with a brand new head coach in Seattle, this is their year. So give me Davon Witherspoon. And that's so not tough because I'm a Seattle fan.
Now,
I
Eli,
just believe in the talent he has.
Eli, let me just bring in real quick. I love Davon Witherspoon, but it is so tough for non-edge rushers to win Defensive Player of the Year. The last time a corner won Defensive Player of the Year was Stephon Gilmore back in 2019. And before that, I think Charles Woodson was the last corner to win one. So it's very rare.
Did you not watch Monday Night Football? You were at the game. Did you not see what he did?
Wait, Charles
versus the Giants?
I could probably name 3 corners I would rather have than Witherspoon. Maybe even 5.
You'll see the year he has with a brand new head coach. You saw what he did Monday night. Oh, Jack and I were at that game.
He's very good. He's a beast. He is not the best. He's not even the best corner
on his own team.
He will be this year, though.
I thought Charles Woodson was a running back.
No, I gotta go get my phone charger real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Do you just want to give your defensive player of the year real? Okay.
Give your defensive player.
Sure. Yep. You know who I'm gonna pick? The best defensive player in the league. He's gonna finally get it. He can ruin a game with one play. It is TJ Watt.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go with Quentin Williams. Okay.
No, you could, but they don't give him love.
TJ Watt is fair.
Give it to TJ.
How about you, John? Your defensive player of the year prediction. Who's gonna win?
So either I have a few players that I think could possibly win defensive player of the year. Nate Wiggins, Josh Hines-Allen, or Trayvon Walker.
All right, so the Jags love. Okay, that's fair. Now we're gonna go to defensive rookie of the year, and
said Parsons, Garrett, Watt, Sauce, Crosby, and the guy picks Davon, and he highlights a game with the Giants because I believe in him.
Yeah, anybody can beat the Giants, Eli. That's not a good game. You're playing Daniel Jones. Come on. But for defensive rookie of the year,
I'll get somebody comeback year player in a little bit. I'll explain why.
Defensive rookie of the year. I haven't really shown much Colts bias in this YouTube in this video, but I'm going to say this isn't even a crazy take, to be honest. Defensive rookie of the year, Laiatu Latu, the number 15 pick in the draft.
He stole mine. He stole it. I had it.
The reason why is because we lost our top pass rusher from last year, Samson Ebukam, in training camp with an Achilles tear. Our D-line depth is so good, and now Latu comes in. DeForest Buckner, you guys do not know how good DeForest Buckner is, honestly. One of the most underrated defensive tackle in the league, if we're being totally honest. He gets double teamed so much. You're going to have Laiatu Latu coming off the edge. He looked incredible in preseason. He's probably going to get to double-digit sacks this year, and he's going to be, the top. He's going to be. We have not had an edge rusher like this since Robert Mathis, which was a very long time ago. So Laiatu Latu, my defensive rookie of the year. How about you, Eli?
You had him. I wrote it down. Laiatu. You
we'll go to George. Offense or defense.
You guys can hear me? I had to disconnect the mic.
You're good.
Oh, we can hear you.
All right. So this guy really should have been picked by the Falcons. I really don't understand how he fell that far. They got to steal the team that drafted him at pick 17. Give me Dallas Turner. I think that guy's a beast. I feel like this is just sticking it to Kirk Cousins. I feel kind of bad for him because his old team is improving a lot, but his current team now just drafted Michael Penix when he was on the board. I feel like Dallas Turner would have been a perfect fit for Atlanta. They probably could have a case for the division if they drafted him. But I'm big on Dallas Turner.
Not
Just
better. Oh, I'm sorry. Not better
Just-
than Latu, but that's fair.
yeah, he is. I honestly fully
Just
think
because
that
because he went to Alabama doesn't mean he's better.
I'm not saying that.
Huh.
I'm not saying that just because he went to Alabama. I'm not because Bryce Young went to Alabama. I'm not a Bryce Young guy.
Look at the
Mac
college
Jones.
production though. Latu was probably the most productive edge rusher in college the last 3 years with 23 sacks the last 2 years with UCLA.
Yeah,
but that's a conversation for another day.
Is he going to get double teamed?
No, because DeForest Buckner is going to get double teamed. I don't know if
John,
you heard that, but DeForest Buckner is so underrated. I can't believe how underrated he is.
He's underrated, definitely, but I mean,
he gets double teamed. I watch all the Colts games, so I know he gets double teamed so often.
yeah, same thing with Quinnen.
Yeah, but John, your defensive rookie of the year pick.
Defensive rookie of the year. Trying to think. I'm either gonna go with Dallas Turner
Boy,
or the Florida State cornerback that the Jacksonville Jaguars drafted.
Jerry Jones. I like Jerry Jones.
In the 3rd round, Jerry Jones.
I like
Solid
Jerry
pick.
Jones. That's a good pick. I like that pick. He was a steal. But honestly, though, there's another Florida State player who got drafted who I think is even better than Dallas Turner. Jared Verse is also a very good edge rusher. I think I had the 3.
You know what?
rushers.
I forgot
he's not better than Dallas Turner.
I forgot.
Yes, he is. That's
No, he's not.
I forgot they even drafted him. I really,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the draft was so long ago. I don't know how y'all remember all the names. I don't remember who all was drafted where. I remember Michael Penix being drafted. I remember some of the players, but not everybody.
Yeah. All right. Coach of the year. I am going with. I talked about. This
Oh,
is a
boy.
team I really like for this season. No, it's not. I'm not picking Mike Tomlin.
Oh,
I'm not picking Mike Tomlin. So please don't overreact. I think this is one you guys can all agree with, or maybe somewhat agree with. I'm picking Jonathan Gannon of the Arizona Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are going to surprise a lot of people this season. Jonathan Gannon won. He beat 3 playoff teams last year. The Cardinals won 14.
Please say something, Jason. I need you to say something in this chat.
I mean, the Cardinals beat the
Please.
Eagles, Steelers, and
You disowned
Cowboys
me
last year.
so far tonight. Please say something.
you
about
picked
it.
Josh Gannon?
No.
Jonathan Gannon.
My bad. But still, I would have been so much happier with Mike Tomlin.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Don't lie to yourself.
That was horrible.
Please. Don't. No. You
Guys
guys
don't
realize-
lie to yourself. Are you
You
kidding
have a
me?
comment.
Jonathan Gannon. Do you guys not realize how good of a coach Jonathan Gannon is? The Cardinals were expected to be like. I mean, I know 4 wins doesn't look on paper, but you look at the team,
they were expected to win 3. They won 4.
Yeah, but they were competitive in most of their games, and especially when Kyler Murray came back, they were really good. They nearly beat the Texans in Houston. They beat the Eagles on the road. They beat the
Jason
Steelers
said,
on the road.
I'm cringing and free Tomlin.
Well, yeah,
It's a solid. He's a solid coach. Don't get me wrong, but
Jason's only complaining because the Cardinals crushed the Cowboys last season.
Okay, all righty. Let's move
Wow.
on. So my pick for coach of the year before things get ugly here, Dan Campbell of the Detroit Lions.
solid.
That's a good pick. He
George.
should have been the coach of the year last year, but he wasn't.
All right, my pick. I'm gonna go with D'Amico Ryans. I really like him.
Okay.
He sort of changed the attitude and sort of the feel of the Texans to this young guns blazing team. I really like how he made the team energetic. I feel like you could put a lot of
Jason.
put a lot of the credit onto Stroud. But I mean, you gotta give Ryans his credit. And I feel like they're gonna make a deep playoff run this year. I could really see them making that deep playoff run.
Fair point. John?
Let's see. Who do I have winning coach of the year? By the way, Eli, I like your Dan Campbell pick.
Thank you.
I'm rocking with it because they're my NFC team, so they're an NFC. So, but anyways, I wrote down somebody that originally now I don't think is going to win coach of the year because I didn't think about the Chargers in the first year head coach, and I just wrote it down. But anyways, I don't have Jim Harbaugh winning it. I'm gonna say a first year head coach. So I'm gonna say Dave I think his name's
Yeah. Yep.
Canales.
Yep.
Dave
Yep.
Canales
That's right.
Okay.
and
That's
Bryce
fair.
Young.
That's fair. I think
He turns around Bryce Young's career. Dave Canales wins offense coach of the year.
Solid.
Okay.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, like I don't know,
Final
like
one.
I mean, yeah. But wait, let me ask a real question to George real quick about coaches, since we're on the topic of it. If the
All
Jets
right.
miss the playoffs, do you think Robert Saleh gets fired? If they miss the playoffs, do you think Robert
No.
Saleh gets fired?
I think yes, and I think he had a really good chance to get fired last year. I think they gave him some grace because of the Rodgers injury. Because if Rodgers didn't get hurt last year and we still missed, he would have been fired right away. So
Yeah.
I think he's a solid head coach. Don't get me wrong. This guy can manage a defense. The only problem is the offense. And then he looks up for who's calling the plays, and it's Nathaniel Hackett. So that's not really an ideal situation. But still, I think Saleh is a really solid head coach. I'm happy with him.
You
Yeah.
have to rely on see what Aaron
Great
Rodgers
defensive
does this week
mind.
of
That's for
firing
sure.
him.
Great defensive
Can
mind.
I say something about coaches too while we're on the topic?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Of course.
So in Doug Peterson's first 2 years with the Jacksonville Jaguars, guess what their record has been?
Around 500.
18 and 16, I believe.
Yes, Jack is correct. 18 and 16. So I think this is the first back-to-back winning seasons that Doug Peterson has coached with the Jaguars. We've had back-to-back winning seasons, and I don't think we will have another losing season while Doug Peterson's the head coach.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fair. Jags have been they've been a solid team, and I love the hire of Ryan Nielsen as their defensive coordinator from Atlanta.
Oh my
last year.
gosh! Oh my
Yeah.
gosh!
All right, we're gonna go to comeback player of the year. Oh wait, about coaches, you guys definitely have not liked my coaching takes in this video. Well, do you hear that Sean McVay is my second favorite, the second best head coach behind Andy Reid? But we'll say that.
No.
Comeback player of the year.
Move along. We don't have all day. It's already
Comeback-
been a long time. Move along.
Comeback player of the year. Bias. I'm going with Anthony Richardson, my guy. Anthony Richardson for comeback
Come
player of
on.
the year.
What's he
Yes.
coming back from?
Don't do that.
Injury. He played
Do not
4
do
games
that.
last year.
What's he coming back from? He's coming back to the same situation like nothing happened. He didn't lose anything really. He's
Injury.
back.
Exactly.
Injury. You come back from injury. Everyone comes
Doesn't
back.
matter.
All right. Well,
It's
whatever.
not like the Colts. I don't really feel differently about the Colts after the Richardson injury at all. That's the problem. Comeback player of the year should be like a guy who's going to change the team and make a big difference.
Yeah, but
There's nothing really for Richardson to make a difference from.
Geno Smith won comeback player of the year from coming back from being in the trash, basically. So it's like the same.
That's coming back from the trash. Richardson's not really coming back
from
from
injury.
Geno Smith
He's
was
gonna
never
be
really a
starting fresh
starter.
new. That's not comeback player
I
of the
mean, he
year.
was a star for like 1 season with the Jets, but that was like 8 years before he won comeback player of the
Okay,
year.
let's just hear what Elijah's got.
Yeah. What do you got, Eli? Comeback player of the year.
Drew Lock and the New York Giants.
What?
Okay.
No.
You said Drew Lock.
No, he
Drew Lock
didn't.
and the New
Yes, he
York
did.
Giants. I did.
What's worse, Drew Lock or Anthony Richardson?
Drew Lock by miles.
Drew Lock by
By
miles.
miles.
Sorry, a mile.
Here's my thoughts to this one. Daniel Jones has not played to level expectation. Drew Lock is going to come in there and he's going to change the
Be
game around.
worse.
The
Be
New York
worse.
Giants.
He's going to come in and be
Listen,
worse.
Don't count preseason. Preseason. The game doesn't count. Regular season, it does. You saw what he did in Seattle towards the end of the run. Now, I believe Drew Lock will take over for Daniel Jones after week 5. Was my prediction early on both. I said on this show and also Sports Mano Mano. And I did say that he would be coming in and he's going to stay strong and he's going to end up bringing this team to a whole new level. And I still stick to that statement. Comeback player of the year, Drew Lock.
Who's your comeback player?
You're okay with You're okay with like this being out in the public? That you
Yes, I
feel
am.
like
Okay, I don't care. This
All
is
right,
live.
So
This is live.
I'm
You can go ahead
safe.
and comment.
I'm
Comment, please.
safe for picking
Please,
Anthony
please, please.
Richardson.
I want
Thank you,
somebody to
Eli.
comment.
Thank
What?
you for saving me, Eli. Thank you for saving me for my pick.
What, because it's a true fact, Jack? Anthony Richardson is horrible. That's the worst thing of tonight, by the way.
Anthony
Oh
Richardson-
boy, Anthony
Anthony
Richardson is
Richardson.
not horrible. He just has nothing to come back from.
Yeah.
I'll go to my
Exactly.
pick though.
That's
It's
still the
Aaron
worst of the night,
Rodgers.
though. Again, he came back from injury.
So did Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
You
Do you
cannot
think
give Aaron Rodgers and Anthony Richardson that type of title.
that's different though? Rodgers is coming
What's
back
different?
because he's making a comeback.
He played last season for 4 plays. That still counts.
Oh my god. Okay.
I
All right,
mean,
we'll go-
Jason
this
Smith's
is
shoulder was fine.
Anthony Richardson's shoulder was not fine. He had to have surgery on it. I mean, if he wouldn't have surgery, he may have never played again. That's the
Again,
bottom line.
you
I'm just
cannot-
saying for
cannot
Richardson,
give
there's
Aaron
nothing
Rodgers- he
behind
played
him
4
really,
games.
if that makes sense. Like he hasn't done much to come.
It's a fair.
Right.
You know what? If
But
you don't like
Rodgers
my-
has Drew
It-
Lock. What's he gonna? He's coming back from being a secondary quarterback.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
You know, okay, so if you don't like my Anthony Richardson pick, what about Jameis Winston taking over for Deshaun Watson in the middle?
John,
No.
let's get to your pick.
Wait,
John.
wait. Do you think that last year? Do you think Gardner Minshew should have won comeback player of the year then? Because that's the same thing basically, or Joe Flacco.
Gardner Minshew was not good last year. You guys do not realize that Gardner Minshew was not good last year. He was horrible.
And Drew Lock's not going to be good.
They almost brought you to the playoffs.
Almost brought who to the playoffs?
The Colts.
Not Drew Lock, Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew is what I'm referring
No,
to.
no, Eli. Gardner Minshew did not almost bring us to the playoffs. Shane Steichen almost brought us to the playoffs.
Yeah,
Not-
we'll see about that this year with Anthony Richardson.
All right,
That's
John,
not
who's your
in
comeback
third
player of the
place.
year?
Should be in fourth.
This has been
Oh.
save us, John.
Say Drew Lock, John.
No,
No,
Don't
I
listen
don't
to
think it's
him.
gonna be-
Don't listen
I'm
to him,
sorry-
John.
I'm sorry, Eli. It's not going to be Drew Lock.
he's trying to poison you with Drew Lock.
I
Oh,
don't
no.
think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers either.
Oh.
Don't say Anthony Richardson.
I don't think it's going to be Anthony Richardson
Thank you.
either.
You're a smart kid, John. You know what you're
Smart.
talking
It's gonna
about.
be Anthony
Now
Richardson.
just we need a pick though.
I'm going to go with.
Could always say Brees Hall.
What is Brees Hall coming back from?
If he goes from 900 yards to 2,000,
That's
That's not a comeback.
I'm going to go with
I'm kidding,
Vontrell
kidding.
Miller, the defensive rookie out of Jacksonville, because he didn't play all of his rookie season. Vontrell Miller.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine.
All right.
I mean, I feel like you have to be like coming back from like previously. I mean,
But
I
again,
guess
same
Anthony
situation with
Richardson's not a good
Aaron
pick.
Rodgers and
He never-
Anthony
No.
Richardson.
He never
Same
played the
situation.
season.
Aaron Rodgers
Same
did
situation,
stuff
though.
before.
It's a safe situation, so you
He never
cannot
pl-
blame John.
He
I'm
never
the only
played.
neutral one that actually gave a good pick tonight.
What?
I'm the only neutral one that gave a good pick tonight.
No.
Comeback
Yes,
player
I
of the
did.
year.
Drew
Thanks for
Lock
joining us on
might
Television
be the
Podcast.
worst take tonight.
Vontrell Miller. Vontrell
John,
Miller.
thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Jack, close us out.
All right, well, I thank you to George and John for joining us. We had some great conversations tonight. It's going to be an awesome NFL season. I am so excited. 105th season. You know, I'm glad we all have different teams, so we can all have like different opinions. I think that's great. Thank you guys so much for joining. It was an awesome time. Join Eli and I for the call of the St. Mary football game against Pequannock High School this coming Thursday, 5 p.m. right here on Surge Sports TV, and our NFC preview show at 7 p.m. on Friday. 2 more special guests joining. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Follow John and George at their social medias. I put it down in the description below, so make sure you go give them a follow. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Go
Thanks
Colts.
for having us.
Bye bye. Go Seahawks. Goodbye.